Here we are with Bear. He's out here with some friends getting some wiggles out. So before we do training, they get some free play. Bear, move on. So I'm gonna have Bear move on. He just is sniffing for too long. Go on. Good boy, thank you. We just have some friends out here playing. He's really interested in the other dogs in the yard because we have these fun mounds for him to climb on and jump on and move around. My patrol dogs, generally German Shepherds, fall into that category, love to watch the other yards.
Okay.
So we're just gonna let him get his wiggles out. Bear, come on, Bear. We're gonna let him get his wiggles out over here with some friends, and then we're gonna start some training. We want training to be fun, so we want them to enjoy it. Here we are with Bear. We have put the transitional leash on, and I'll show you how to do that. And right now we're just working on going for a calm, cool, collected walk. I want my hand to be at my side, close to my back pocket. Not in front of me, not to the front of my side, but like back here by my back pocket. That way, whenever Bear steps in front of my leg, when his legs go past my legs, there's tension on that leash. And what we're wanting him to do is to learn how to walk with no tension on that leash. And he's actually doing amazing at it. So when he creates pressure on that leash, we have 5 tools we're going to use to help him learn to walk this nice, loose leash. We have some about medium distractions. We have some dogs barking on our right, cars passing on our left, and he's doing really well actually. Across the street and going to another subdivision. And we're going to work on these 5 tools, teaching him to be calm, cool, and collected while on the leash. Again, the most important things is my body language, my attitude, my feelings. The dogs can really pick up on those. And my body placement, right? Again, my hand is back here by this back pocket. Some people need to hold onto that pocket to remind them, but we just need, you can see on the leash how it's loose. There's like no pressure. Because with this transitional leash, eventually we want him to not have the nose piece around his nose, just to be able to walk at a nice heel with us. And in order to do that, he's got to learn how to walk with no pressure. Not slight pressure, not lots of pressure, no pressure. So our 5 tools, we're going to go over lots. Every day we train, we're going to go over these, but I want to make sure I show them lots. So anytime there's pressure created on this leash, you'll see me do little flicks. You see I'm just like flicking this little pulses with my hand to the side. That's a flick. That's number 1. That's one we can do. Again, my hand placement is super important. I want him to learn how to be able to see me in the corner of his eye so he can walk beside me and know right where I'm at. So eventually we can have that not off leash experience, but as if we're off leash, right? I don't even have to on the leash. I can just like pin it to my waist or something and we'll just hang out together. So in order to get to that, we have to have no pressure on the leash, and he's got to be able to see me in the corner of his eye so he knows when to slow down and when to go faster. So we have the flicks that I was just talking about. We have zigzags, and that's just where I zig and I zag. I walk here, I walk there, I walk everywhere. Nowhere in particular, but again, my hand is glued to that side. You can see I'm doing little flicks even while doing the zigzags, and this is just getting him to pay attention to me, not paying attention to where we're going or having his nose down tracking something. I'm just walking. And he's doing pretty well. I'm bumping into him there, but he's moving out of my way and really paying attention to where I'm at. His ears are working, his eyes are working. Here he's starting to give a little pressure on the leash again. Give a little flick. You can see the side angle, how he's just beside me. His collar is to my leg. Well, if he was wearing a collar, it'd be to my leg. He's creating a little pressure. I'm doing those flicks. I'm going to do those zigzags. So you have 2 so far. You have the flicks, you have the zigzags. Alright, so we just came inside. We always do free play first, then we had our training walk, and now we're going to go to our bed for a few minutes. So I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to walk into his bed. I'm just going to let him sit up for a second because it's our first time we're on the bed. I'm help him on his bed. There. So we're just going to give him a minute. Come there. Good boy. And as soon as he's up there, I've lifted up on the leash, I put his bum down, a little bit, and I'm going to, I'll show you how to work this leash, but I'm going to pull the leash off the nose. I want to make sure I do it, not him do it, because I don't want him to think he can take it off whenever he wants. Just I can take it off. And then I'm just going to cinch the leash back down around his neck. I'm just going to drop the leash. Give him a little pet down here. That's a hard walking one. You did so good. And then I'm going to use the leash, help him back on his bed. When on the bed, he's got to stay in a calm state of mind. So that's in a sit or a down. And now I'm just going to walk around him, doing U-shapes. So I'm just going from wall to wall. As soon as he steps up, I'm going to use my distance pressure for my body, just comes in front of him. So I'm just taking myself and putting it in front of him to create a boundary, a barrier, right, that says what you're doing is wrong, go back to a calm state. Because he comes to play dates, he knows this very, very well. It's what we use to help correct all the dogs in the yard when they're doing something naughty. So it's just like a quick little, like your mom gives you that look, right, and they put their bum down, we walk away. So he knows that one really well. So I'm just going to do these walking around him, just create that barrier for a little while. They're cleaning the kennels on the other side of this glass door right here. You can see through that door. So that's what he's looking at. You can hear the water hose going. He's doing great. He's in a nice, calm state. So now I'm going to sit back, probably on the floor over here, and I'm going to post these videos while he just chills. So we talked about, actually, I'll take a second. So we talked about on our walk how we're working on impulse control through contact pressure on a leash. Now we're working on impulse control through distance pressure while off a leash. So technically he has a leash on because he's still learning, but I'm going to try not to use the leash. I'm just going to use my body to apply that distance pressure. I'm not using words more than like a ch or eh. I don't want to just keep bed off, down, no. Like I just want Bear to learn to cool it on his own, right? I want him to just be able to chill on his own. So we have this defined space. It's a raised bed, which is a little bit off the ground. It is the best thing ever. You can get them off Amazon. They're like $20 depending on what style you like. It's just a place for them to chill. This is important because there's no contact pressure. He's not on a leash. He's learned to control himself with me giving him some guidance from across the room, right? So if I'm in my house, I'd be doing the dishes, I'd fold my laundry, I'd watch some TV, I'd just hang out so he can learn to get comfortable here. In the beginning, he's not going to be comfortable. He might whine. You can hear like a little bit of a whine underneath there. It's just not a comfortable place yet, right? It's just like when you're sitting and you're not ready to sit. Oh, there he thought about getting off. You can see how that raised bed comes in handy because his paws are hanging off, but he's not actually touching the floor. He's got to learn to like the feeling of being calm. If this bed becomes a punishment, it's not going to work, right? He's not going to like the feeling of being calm. We want this to be a happy place. I'm going to pet him on here. I'm going to love him on here. He's going to chill on here and just be calm. It's going to be his favorite place ever, right? I can go sit with him on this bed, but I need him to learn to love to be here and to learn to love to just chill, to know he doesn't need to get crazy. And we'll up a little bit more in a little while. I'll knock on the door and I'll ring the doorbell and I'll actually add some really good stimulants and teach him that chilling on the bed feels better than running to the door or jumping on people when they come in. Just chill. Alright, so we have the transitional leash. This is the handle. This part is the part that will go over his head. You have this figure 8, and this is just the safety that will connect to his collar. You notice I did not clip it in the first videos because I forgot his collar, so we'll clip it this time. And so this is going to go over his head, and this piece is going to go over his nose. You and down. So I'm just gonna go over his head, over his nose, and I'm gonna tighten this down. As you can see, it's crooked. This O-ring is way over here behind the ears. So I'm gonna push everything the direction I want it to go. So I'm gonna pull this because I want it to go this way. And I'm gonna push this, and I want this to be right in the middle. And then I'll push this button, slide it down so that it's snug. So when I lift up, it'll give me about 1 to 2 inches, and then when I release, the pressure goes away. And this is how we're gonna put the generator on, or the transitional leash on. So I'm gonna show you one more time to take it off. I'm gonna push this button, pull it back, loosen it here, take it off the nose, pull it off the head, and we're done. And we're gonna do it again. There. There. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna find my O-ring. I'm gonna find my figure 8. I like to just do here so I can like pet him as we go over. This one went behind his head. This one's gonna go on the nose. I'm gonna tighten this down. We're crooked again, so I'm just gonna push the nose piece and pull this till it's right in the middle. And now I'm going to clip this safety clasp onto the leash so that if for any reason he got this off his nose and this off his neck, we're still connected to his collar. And that's how we put the transitional leash on. Alright, here we are with Bear. He had just went out for a free play. We just did the video of how to put this leash on him, so we're going to go back out for a walk. Just going to give a little tug, help him off his bed. I want him to come on this side this time. We're going to a door. The door's right in front of us, so I want him to put his bum down before we even get to the door. So now he has his bum down. The video's going to get a little crazy for a second because I have to use my other hand to open the door. But every time he stands up, I'm just going to lift up that weight of an apple. Whoa, he did awesome. Look at you go there. You're amazing. And I don't want him to walk through until I give that little tug on the leash. And he can walk through with me. We're just going through. All the doorways are already open here. So we're just walking through. People are walking through too, so he's kind of sniffing. He's getting a little excited. So I'm going to do a reset here. Lift up the weight of an apple. And just have him put his bum back down. Things are a little more excitable. And we're just going to wait. They're talking behind us. We're just going to wait for him. We want his mind to be able to go into that calm state. When he's excited and ready to go, instead of feeling like he needs to take off or he needs to be crazy, I just want him to go into that calm state. There, he went down. Got the leash. I'm going to pick that in back up. We'll give a little tug. We're going to walk together to the next door. So doors are important. We need him to be calm, cool, and collected when coming up to a door and when going out the door. Here we have another door. I want him to stay in that SIT position. He stood up. So I lifted up the weight of an apple. Here, his bum went down. The door is open. If you can't tell from all the sunlight, I'm give him a little tug, and we're going to go out together. Alright, so we have our 5 tools we talked about, right? We're just going to use those as we go on this walk, working on the impulse control, being calm, cool, and collected while using the contact pressure of a leash. So eventually we can use the distance pressure of the bed that we're learning and just teach him that he likes to be calm, cool, and collected. My hand is positioned slightly behind me. Sorry, every time I tap, I'm doing good. Just slightly behind me. You can see on this side, we're doing leg to leg or collar to leg. Something a lot of people do, if I put my arm way out here, can he walk out here? Yes, because he's not hitting the end of the leash, right? There's no pressure. I need to make sure that I want him to hit pressure as soon as he gets past being able to see me in his peripheral, right? There, that's pressure. That's correction. So he's learning when he can't see me, he's in the wrong spot. So right now we're going to go past a barking Dalmatian. He's creating pressure. So remember how we talked about that direction change? Because we were getting to something that was causing him to lose being calm, cool, and collected. Calm, cool, and collected. We'll walk closer again. And if he can walk past the barking Dalmatian, then we will keep going. But if he can't be calm, cool, and collected, we'll turn around. I'm going to do some of those zigzags. I'm just going to go here and there because he's not really pulling too much. He's doing pretty good. The Dalmatian is right over here so that you can see that's where he's looking. That's where he's going. Yeah. Bumping into me. That's all right. We're still figuring it out. Just going to keep going until we can just walk back and forth as if there was nothing over there. I don't mind if he looks, but he doesn't need to create any pressure on this leash, and we just need to walk together like a team. Oh, there he wanted to cross over. We're not crossing over either. When the dogs cross over, I just use the leash to bring them right back to where they are. Let them walking back there where it's a little uncomfortable. They'll figure it out all on their own. We don't give dogs enough credit. They're brilliant. They're smart. So he's on this side. It's uncomfortable, right? He's like bumping all into my legs, and he's like, oh, I don't want to be over there. And then he chooses on his own. So then in the future, it was a choice that he made. It was something he learned. So then he can figure out what feels good for him. So right now there's some cats, and that's what he is sniffing on the ground, if you can see the little paw prints. So he was putting his head in between my legs trying to smell the cats. So I'm just going to lift up, and we're going to do a patient sit, and we're going to chill here for a little while. So if you remember, we had the cats, we had the dogs, we were kind of getting overly stimulated. So we went into this calm position. We had him put his bum down and chill here, and he's doing really well. We're going to walk some more. I don't mind if he sniffs the ground, but he cannot create pressure on the leash when sniffing the ground. He cannot create pressure on the leash when he sees the cat. So sniffing the ground while we're walking right here, that's fine. There's no pressure on this leash. As soon as he starts getting ahead of me and his nose gets the best of me, and there's pressure on that leash, then I will give those flicks, right? I'll use those 5 tools. We need him to remember, even though you're excited about whatever it is, you still have to contain yourself inside that calm, cool, and collected state. We can still sniff, we can still potty, we can still greet friends, but we have to do it calmly. And that's what we're wanting him to understand, is just how to be calm, cool, and collected. That barking dog again, now on our left. So we're still just using the dogs and the cats as a nice distraction. Stepping it up a little bit. You can see his head is high and he's smelling and looking at the dog to the right now. So he is not pulling. He's aware of where I am, and he's walking nicely with me. And we're going back to where the cats stay. Well, you can see his nose is getting the best of him there, so he created pressure. So I'm doing my flicks. You hear people talking. So you can see why having 5 different tools is important. Sometimes the flicks are good. Sometimes that reset where we put the bums down is good. Sometimes we're doing the zigzags all over the place. Sometimes we did the direction change. We didn't do the roll back in any of those, but we definitely could have done that also. So you're just able to train and use different tools in different moments to help the dog be able to, here we'll do a roll back. Started pulling on me, getting excited when the dog came up on our left. There. Alright, so we're coming up to the door.
Hello!
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, you know, we're just doing great.
It's good to see you today.
Good to see you.
So here Bear's doing really well, but I'm just wanting him to put his bum down so I can have a conversation with Bree in front of me while I'm just holding this leash up, because again, I'm not giving any verbal commands. How was your day today, Bree?
Oh, great. I've been really productive. Got lots of cleaning done.
Awesome.
You know, getting all the things checked off the list.
Beautiful, beautiful. Bear is doing awesome today.
Oh,
And
good.
he's being stubborn at the moment, but that's all right. He's just excited to see you and come to Rough Life and play. So I'm just going to continue just to hold this pressure while we wait for Bear to put his bum down. Sometimes it takes a while depending on how exciting the person in front of them is, right? Or the door is, or where they're going. So we're just going to wait for him to put that bum down. He can see to the right, that's where the yard is of the dogs. He can hear the music and hear them running and playing. Oh, oh. As soon as the bum goes down, the leash goes down. And now that he's calm, cool, and collected, we can go in and meet Bree. So we're going to go in.
Hi there.
Hello, Bree. How's it going today? We're going to come in. We're going to have him put his bum down again. Because as soon as we come in a home or a building, we want that bum to go down so he remembers to be calm, cool, and collected. And once his bum goes down, well, we're thinking, there we go. Once his bum goes down, then Bree can come up and pet him. And she can pet him and love on him as long as his bum stays down in the sit or the lay. We're working our way to our bed again. It's right in front of us. I'm going to lead him up to it. Lift up the weight of an apple. He knows what the bed means. I'm going to loosen the leash and take it off his nose. And eventually I'll take it off him all the way, but right now in the beginning, because sometimes they just like to jump off the bed and run and play. I can catch a leash pretty easily. It's hard for me to catch a dog that's so I just like to leave the leash on there in the beginning. You do have to be careful. I'm going to use my distance pressure here. Sometimes they'll chew on the leash, so you do want to make sure that they're not going to chew on it. So right there I did that distance pressure when he stood up. It's because Iris and Bree just walked in. Hello, ladies. And Bear wanted to go say hi, but I said, no, they can come visit you. You can't go visit them yet. Again, this is all about impulse control training. We don't want him going up to people. We want to allow them to come up to him or him to sit in front of them and politely let them pet them when he's ready.